My absolute pleasure to be here. Welcome everyone to my Maryland studio. I thought it might be fun actually to begin this session with just a little tour of my studio. This is where I do a lot of my work. This is where I shoot my famous super cool fold of the week. And so I just thought you guys might like to see a little behind the scenes. This is where I actually use a remote and a camera on a tripod. So here's my camera, and I use a shotgun mic. And I shoot over this way. There's a reflector right here that I have a light that reflects down there and reflects. And then this is my famous fake plant. I get questions about whether this is a real or fake plant. This is definitely a fake plant. It travels with me. And then this is where I shoot, my little famous red chair. And then over here, these are all my lights that are set up. This is a still shot area. This is where I have cameras that change in and out, whether it's video or still digital photography. And then I light and shoot Magic Hands videos, which are my kind of opening and closing videos for YouTube. And then I also shoot stills here. So I thought you guys might like to kind of see where I work. Also, I wanted to share with you guys a reminder that there will be a couple of, two lucky viewers will get, courtesy of CCG, create fold of the week shirts. So I will choose what they will say, but you will send your size and you'll get your own special shirt. So I just wanted to remind everybody that 2 viewers will be chosen randomly at the end of this event, and you'll get your own shirts. So that will also be super fun. So as Michael said, I'm going to be really talking today about direct mail. But I've been very careful to curate this collection of samples I'm going to show you today. As many of you know, I have thousands of samples to choose from, and with Fold of the Week being at 550 episodes, or 511, I'm sorry, I get ahead of myself, 511 episodes, I have lots to choose from things that I've featured. However, I'm really focused on what I like to call low budget wonders, strategies that are effective and attainable for everyone. So this is going to be kind of my low budget wonder greatest hits. I've got some great ideas and strategies for you. And I hope it just gets everybody ready to, I know we're all reevaluating our marketing strategies, and really it's never been a better time to send mail. Strangely, our mail boxes are empty. People have more time than they've ever had to sit and read their mail, and they're feeling isolated. And so that connection is really welcome right now. What used to be the mail moment of 3 to 5 seconds, I would argue is probably more like 10 seconds or maybe more than that, because people actually have the time and attention, and they're being kind of overwhelmed with digital communications. So anyway, let's just think of this in terms of how can we be helpful and communicate and stay top of mind, and then drive sales as everyone's coming back to normal. So I want to start with some of the simplest mail formats, and I'm just going to work my way through. And so I hope you like this collection. So this one I love. This was a Target piece. This is 2 panels glued together. This is a simple, I love this rounded shape. This was a sale. I really like the white space and how clean and simple it is. I love the shape that's created and how this can just get glued. This is a mailing panel, folded self-mailer. And so you got your fold over here, and just clean and simple, but that unique shape is eye-catching, and it's fun to open. So just nice. This one I love because it's literally 2 panels glued together. So usually a 2-panel folded self-mailer a lot of times is tabbed and mailed. And so I want you to think about creative ways that people can get into your mail piece. Some of these things are so simple. This is 2 panels glued together. It's got, I already pulled it, but it has a perf all the way around. It says lift here, and you lift and pull. So it also creates a noise. We're engaging senses. We've got hearing, sight, touch. The more senses you engage, the greater the brand loyalty. There are studies on all types of kind of the neuroscience behind that. But so, peels open, it's fun to get into. This one also has 4 little tipped on cards to share. Not a requirement, just neat for this one. Another kind of engaging element that they pull something off and save it or give it. So, that little activity is also pretty powerful. And this is a self-mailer. Anybody out there is in the higher ed space, this is a great piece. This is Cleveland State University. This is also, these are all self-mailers for the most part. This one has their sports team mascot. They're using some neon ink as well. So you got some fluorescent ink, you got brights. This becomes a little glued down panel that opens up, and then it's just a 2-panel. I like the oblong format. It creates this long, you know, layout that's quite nice. I love the bright colors, all the pictures with people in them, but I really think this bold mascot in the shape that glues down is just fun and unexpected and an easy way to open such a simple format. So nice stuff. This one's neat. This one did actually, this one did mail in a clear envelope, but I'm showing it because it's a great example of a simple format. This is just a large card or billboard mail format. But they tipped on, and so that's where the mailing panel is. It's got some info on the back, and that's a little hard to see, a little glare. There we go. So that's the mailing panel. But this one actually has a tipped on ruler. See a plastic ruler that is tipped on, and they peel it off and keep it. And so very simple carrier, simple base format with a nice little tip on. So you get that sense of lumpy mail, something in there, something to keep. And so I think this is really nice for that. You give them something very, very simple, rectangle, the end. This piece was actually a door drop, but I think it translates to direct mail so well that I wanted to share this one. Think of this like a trifold where the fold-in panel is glued down, and you'll see why. Okay, so here's the cover. This also has some nice, just spot gloss and dull UV coatings. Again, like coatings can be a simple way to add engagement without really, you know, sending the cost sky high. So think about those details that really make it eye-catching and give it some, you know, sensory engagement, some touch. So anyway, this is nice. And then it opens up, and this actually has 4 little peekaboo little reveal panels. So I peeled them up. So, you know, they were all down, and they have little thumb, little like a half circle thumb area. I hope you can kind of see that, but you just peel them up. So it can be question answer. It can be, you know, a teaser for something with something on the inside or an image on the inside, but this is just the fold-in panel glued down and selectively not glued in the panels that are the pull-up. So those are perfed. And this one has 4. You could do 2, you could do 1, you could do, I mean, you could reveal a coupon, like whatever. There's lots of nice ways to use this concept, and it's very simple, very simple. So I like that. This one's neat because it's also, again, simple, but this one would go in an envelope. This was an event invitation, but I want you to think about different ways that images can interact with each other. So this is just 2 rectangles basically with an eyelet. See the little eyelet right there? Okay, so that's giving me a hinge. So this says, fun times are brewing at Eagle's Trace. Turn this bottle upside down. So with these 2 images interacting, you've now made the recipient pour themselves a glass of beer. And it makes you think about what other images could interact with each other. I mean, just simple, simple, simple. And yet this just two rectangles, eyelet into an envelope, the end. Fun, just image trick, okay? Very cool. I also don't want to kind of miss the opportunity to talk about just a classic piece of, you know, a direct mail letter mail. This is a great example. This was for the Y. Great use of the outer envelope. So I want to remind everybody that the most expensive piece of mail is the one that doesn't get opened. And I think a lot of times we focus so much on what's in the envelope that we forget about the outside, about the envelope that's wrapping it. And there's lots of ways to do this. Yeah, I could probably fill an hour just with envelope strategy, but I wanted to share This one, because they're using color, they've got people. People connect with people. People like stories and people, and to see the eye contact there is really important. It's got a message, push what's possible. That's their campaign. Inside letter with another nice image, people, eye contact. This one has a response mechanism that you tear off on the bottom. They've taken their push what's possible message and printed it again on the back. It's just reminding people. They use color. Just a very nice direct mail letter. And I just wanted to remind everybody how powerful just this kind of simple classic form of mail can be. So I think this is just a really nice example of that. So one of my favorite categories these days is actually coupon delivery. Many of us are trying to motivate sales, to get people to take action, and giving a coupon or a gift card or something that they're going to keep can be something really powerful. So I've got some really nice coupon delivery mechanisms, I'll call them. This one was actually last week's Fold of the Week. If you're interested in checking out that episode, I shared two formats. I usually show one format on Fold of the Week. Last week, I decided to show both because this is two format variations of the same concept, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this was both are folded self-mailers, mailing panel back here. This is the cover, simple little mailer. This was for Tommy Hilfiger. And what I love is there's this little short flap right here. So think of this as two panels, one little short flap with the coupon attached to it. So this short flap is glued down tight. And so when you open it, you get a little bit of dimension and lift in just opening it, because the coupon is kind of on its own, standing on the edge of this little flap. What I also like is that the coupon is three sides already, are removed. So you're really just asking them for that last little tear of the microperf. So I just love the way that works. I think it's also, from a design standpoint, strong imagery, bold graphics, and so you get that contrast and your eye goes right here. So really nice. So that's the first variation on this. So then they have a larger version, also folded self-mailer, but it's got a short flap. It looks more like an envelope mailer. And then you open the top and fold it down. And this one has a 2-up gift card, one for you, one for a friend. Give one, share one type of a thing, but same principle, except they added a flap up here and they added a second card down here. But you see the same nice, like, little bit of lift. You got the same branding down here and the little flap that's glued down. Just clean, simple. I love this for folded self-mail. I believe Tommy Hilfiger sends these out as birthday mailings, and so they do them a couple times a month, a few thousand every time they run this. I thought it was like 6,000 or 10,000 each wave every month. So just really nice. So this one I love. Again, we're still in coupons. I love this one because this one has no gluing at all. This was an M&T Bank piece, little folded self-mailers in their green, mailing panel back here. Open it up. It's just glued down, simple like fugitive glue. Open it up, and what they did is they took a classic double parallel fold. Okay, you see that in half and half, except they took the last panel and just stripped everything out except for the coupon. Now, what I love this because there's no glue. I also love it because when you open it, there's a little bit of lift, like just that, because it's on its own like that, it kind of lifts up just naturally because it's on its own like that. And so you just tear it, it's just right in your face, and you just tear it right off. I just think the format's so cool. And here's the other thing that I think is brilliant about it is that to open the piece, you have to hold the coupon. So you're already like holding the coupon. You might as well tear it off. Like, it's just a brilliant use of the coupon becomes kind of the opening mechanism as well. So you're kind of right there, tear the coupon off. So brilliant folded self-mailer. I love this. Tommy Bahama, I think, does some of the best direct mail campaigns. They do integrated campaigns. And they just always make their envelopes just fun and wild. They just carry their brand through so well. Admittedly, they have a fun brand. It's very, you know, beachy, tropical. So they've got cool graphics to work with anyway, which they definitely use to their advantage. But this piece is neat because it looks exactly like an envelope. There's even a little taper on the square flap, which is exactly what an envelope would look like. But this is a folded self-mailer. So this opens like this, and it actually folds down. And there's a message in here, trying to catch the glare here to not have the glare. But then there's a little flap down here that's glued up. And this is a plastic gift card in here. So the glue, it glues and, you know, secures this down. So the gift card is sitting in here in a little window, but this flap is glued up. So it's holding that in there. And so you've got the pattern and the focal point down here and a message. Trying to see if you can see that message. There we go. So just really nice and simple, but it looks exactly like an envelope. Still Tommy Bahama. And this one is an envelope mailer, and another one that delivers a gift card. And I love, again, just great use of envelope. I like that they put a message and the award goes to you. They put a message on the flap. Using the back of the envelope is a great mail strategy that I don't see enough of. That's where the flap is. You want people to open it, put a message there. And so this one opens up. And it's just what I like about this one is this one's like beyond simple. This is just a card, you know, large card type of a mail format. It's just a rectangle, and it's got the tipped on coupon, and it's a plastic one, tipped right onto the piece. Just easy breezy, bold on the one side, matches, everything matches. And they do an email campaign with this. They did, you know, they also did an informed delivery campaign with this, USPS informed delivery with the graphic and the clickable graphic. So just really well done, and yet so incredibly simple. If anybody's looking for kind of a cool coupon delivery on a longer run, this was specifically a longer run piece. It's not to say it can't be done in a shorter or smaller quantity. It's just this one was designed for long run, and yet was engaging from a coupon delivery standpoint. So this was for Nook, Barnes & Noble. And no, this was for Barnes & Noble, and they were giving away a 25 off coupon. So when it opens like this, the coupon, so think of this like a trifold, where the fold-in panel is glued just on the outer edges to create a pocket. This coupon has a little tab that is glued to this panel. And so it's connected. And so when it's closed, the coupon is in the pocket. Okay. And as it's opening, watch the coupon is sliding out because this panel is pulling it out. And so this coupon is personalized. It's got metallic ink, it's perfed, and it tears off. So just really nice use of movement, dimensionality, personalization, creative, you know, metallic ink, nice format, but simple. So anyway, I thought you guys would like that one too. Okay, let's see. Let's move on to some other, let's do some other, so let's do booklet mail. Okay, so I love just a nice booklet mailer. Again, people have more time than ever. So, you know, if you do anything where you could have, you know, a catalog type of a scenario, something like that, this would be a nice time to do a simple booklet type mailer. This one I thought was exceptionally well done. This was for Ann Taylor, just soft and buttery. I love this little short panel right here. So stitches are here. Whoops, stitches are here. Mailing panel here. Mailing panel, stitches. Okay, this is a flap, but you look at it this way. So really nice use of imagery. I love this short flap. And I love that on this short flap, they have tipped on a coupon. a $20 off and $25 off coupon that's right here. So you're, and by the way, just for the designers out there, I'm a designer as well. The way that she's looking at this, it's just, it's kind of brilliant design. You kind of go where her eyes go as well. This piece opens up, and they did kind of a short sheet here too, not a requirement, but really nicely done. And then this has several pages, like, I don't know, 8 pages or something on the inside. Just really nicely done. Love the scale, love the way it works, and I love that they just start right up front with the coupon and the way that that works. You kind of peel it open, there's your coupon, look at the products. Really, really nice. These are a couple of folded pieces, because, you know, of course you can stitch, but you can also do something folded. This piece was for minted, and I like how this one works. It opens, so here's the cover, okay, mailing panel here, fold down here, cover here, opens up like this, but then it's also really a double parallel, so watch. Double parallel, it's basically a broadside double parallel. I'll show you how it works, but okay, open, opens like this, and now you get another spread. So you've gotten this spread isolated, this spread isolated, opens up one more time. So really nice use of real estate. You got plenty of real estate for graphics. I love that this is totally machinable, you know, from a production standpoint and from a mailing standpoint. So this folds down, then it double parallel folds in, and then folds down once again. Tabs to meet USPS requirements, mailing back here. Just really nice and fun if you've got a lot of graphics or you want to make a bold impact or send a poster, or, you know, this is a really nice way to send larger content folded down through the mail. So I like this one a lot. This one technically was not a mailer, but I loved the way they used the graphics on this. So it's, you know, it's folded down as long as you're within the right mail requirements for size. It's, you know, no problem. But this one in particular was not a mailer. But just really nicely done, the way that they use the content, the space, how artful it is. And so this one basically is like this, and then opens into a big poster this way. So I'll fold it back down again. So in half this way, and then it basically just quarter folds down. So one more and one more. So just really nice use of graphics, great space. And so I just wanted to show a couple of the larger poster sized pieces. I do have a couple of while I'm in large stuff, I might as well show you a couple of these. This one is actually a double parallel, just a classic format. This is just nice, just a nice marketing brochure, but they did metallic on the outside. They did a little bit of a long trailing edge on this panel. So this panel is long, and so it peeks out. So you get this little sneak peek of imagery. So sometimes you can even just do little things like playing with the trailing edge and giving a little sneak peek of imagery, but just a fun, simple format, classic, easy to fold. And this one I thought you guys would really like. This has always been one of my favorites for large amounts of information, and also for my people out there that are in higher ed. This one's great. Also, if you might be in maybe finance or something like that, where you've got brochures that require a lot of information to be sent. So this one's neat. This was for a private school called Hathaway Brown, and it folds open like this. And this is basically, it's called a stepped accordion, but it's an accordion fold, but you play with the, in this case, depth, not width, of the scores and the panels. And so what you get, so it has a huge amount of information on it, but they're able to create stepped content. because you're varying the size of those panels, and then you're folding it all down, and they've organized grades 9 to 12, 5 to 8, 1 to 4, early childhood and kindergarten, and they've got their kind of course selections. So totally nice.
Hey Trish, I think we
Yes.
lost video right of you. There we are.
Am I there?
Yep.
Okay. Did you see this piece, or did I cut out before?
Yeah, you only cut out for just a second or two.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay, good, good. Okay. So those are some larger sized pieces. So I want to show a few kind of folded self-mail formats and things that are interesting that I thought you guys might like. So this one, well, I want to show this one. This one could be large or small. This is more of a marketing piece that could go into an envelope. But what I really like about this format in particular is that it's, can be folded by machine, but it's also simple, and yet it gives you a really nice reveal. So this piece, so this one in particular is using a trifold format, but what's going on here is there's actually 2 more panels that fold out. See what I'm doing? So there's a shorter one here, a longer one here. You can play with where that break is and how wide it is. So you could do, wider one, a really narrow one, move it up, move it down. This can be on the inside or outside. It's just a little kind of a format trick that can be really nice. This format also, if you, for example, skipped the top panel, you could. And this also can hold, this becomes kind of a glueless pocket, and you could put light material in here. So if anybody wanted to put a little brochure or something to tuck in, or a little card or whatever, you can do, as long as you've got tension on either side with the fold. You can also use short folds to put material in as well. So I've seen this type of format done as book cover, like book jackets. I've seen it done in gatefolds and trifolds and all sorts of things. So it's not requirement to use a trifold, but I thought you guys would like this one because it is creative and yet can be, folded pretty easily and is efficient. So this is a nice one. Also in the kind of efficient but fun category is this one. So this one has, this is basically a wrapped accordion. So everybody loves accordion folds. They love the reveal. So this one's neat because this is a self-mailing format. Opens up like this, and then opens out like this. Everybody see my accordion there? So what's really nice is this is all just parallel folds. It's straightforward, and yet you get a really nice reveal because a classic accordion can't self-mail. You have to close the edge. And so you get a closed edge by wrapping that cover, wrapping that flap, gluing that down. So just nice, simple. Also, this type of format has a lot of real estate for graphics. And I love, with direct mail, I find, and I've been studying it for a long time, I've been curating the collection for a long time, and I've just seen sometimes just so much, content get kind of crammed into a small space. And sometimes if you just add a couple extra panels, open up some air, and simplify your message, instead of trying to throw everything you have all at one mailer, and people just get tired and they kind of lose interest. So, think about being, simplicity, bold, clear with your message. So, so anyway, these are nice. This one I like also as a very simple direct mail format. This one folds into a rectangular shape. And I thought you guys would like this one because this one's also completely easy to machine fold. This one also uses an image trick. So it's one of my kind of favorite kind of low budget strategies. I showed you guys this one. This one uses an image trick as well. And it's basically using imagery to engage. And so this one has a train on the front. And so they've got the train, the doors here, and those doors open, it's a gatefold. So what I like is they're using that image trick to get you to open the doors. And then, you know, simple. So all this really is gatefold, right angle fold. So simple from a production standpoint, but also a nice reveal. And I also like the two opportunities. Like you've got a spread here, and think about how you're walking people through your content, how you want them to experience your content. So you've got a reveal here and a reveal here. So just nice, simple, clean. This one I absolutely love. This one does require a die cut. So some of these will require die cuts, but they're simple. This one was for MGM, and this one mailed in a kind of a shimmery envelope, a shimmery paper that they use like a pearlescent to send it. This one also has a gift card shopping spree type of an offer. But what I like is it opens out like this. So this was in a number 10 envelope, pearly like paper. And then they've got a bold message here, and then this folds down. So what's neat about this is it helps you have a second reveal. It gives you the ability to take people through your message in a simple way. And then it gives them a reveal here too. And what's nice is like this particular piece had a lot of, you know, they had some logos and they had some details and things. And it was nice to kind of cover up all the, we'll call it, you know, busier content and making the message really clean. And then they reveal kind of some of the details. So you pull them in and then you get to, you know, the nitty gritty. So love that. And they also, by the way, MGM uses this format. They did a whole kind of series of pieces using this format. They use it a lot. So I would also have to think that, you know, you could also get a lot of mileage out of the die line because it's a very versatile format. It's not custom. It's something you can use in lots of different ways. So anyway, nice. This one is great because this was this one was also a folded self mailer. That's a mailing panel. This was for Volvo, and it opens up. And then this is a kind of a modified, it's called a T-cross. So if you watch Photo of the Week, I show a lot of different variations on the iron cross format, which is that kind of plus shape. And you can do these lots of different ways. I love this one because they've turned the fold-in panels and it creates a T shape. That's why it's called a T-cross. But I like the little gate panels. So normally an iron cross would have full-length panels. So both of these panels would overlap each other as long panels. But what I really like is this little gatefold reveal. I love that they've got a simple message and a bold image, and then opens up to some additional information. And by the way, I also wanted to mention, guys, that I'm showing you format. I'm not showing anything today that is a perfect square or would be considered square mail. And the reason is I believe in a splurge save scenario. So sometimes it's great to splurge on the format, but then to save on postage. So I'm showing you rectangular versions of specialty folds like an iron cross or a T-cross. And that's because I believe, you know, that you don't want to spend any more on postage than you need to. So, you know, a special event or something like that, square mail, fabulous. But otherwise, like think about ways to modify specialty formats into formats that are more mail friendly so that you get the best rates you can on postage. There's just no reason to spend more on postage than you have to. So anyway, splurge save. So I really like this format a lot. And then related, but different. This is more of a full iron cross, again, rectangular, but this one starts with the gate panels. And then it has two full panels that overlap each other. So I also thought this was really nicely done because you can play with the reveal and yet, you know, really nice little brochure format. You know, so I just thought this one was nice too. Let's see, what else do I have? I have a few more for everybody before I open up for questions. Let's see here. This one I thought you guys would like. Another, got a fair amount of folded self mailers left here. So this was for kind of girls clothing company Justice. And this is another one where they made really great use of double parallel folding. So this is a double parallel, much like that M&T piece with the green with the little coupon. Similar concept, except that they put Live Justice, which is their like slogan or whatever. It's die cut out, and so it's got a bit of dimension. It's it's cut out, which is neat. It's eye catching. It's also just above where they've tipped on some coupons and like a bookmark that they can take off. But it also is nice because you use this to open it down like this. So very simple folded format. I like their just kind of the direction that they draw your eye. I like the dimensionality and the die cutting that creates that dimension. And then I think this is neat as a tip-on panel. It's definitely a focal point when you open it. So simple, but clever. This one I thought was neat to put in, for example, with a direct mail letter or, to send. This is a classic little number 10 size piece. This also felt versatile for like literature holder, also for mailing. But this is neat. I feel like the folding theme is kind of double parallel folds because they're so versatile and easy to do. But this one is also a double parallel. But they created these little houses that kind of overlay. It just creates this very cute little sense of dimension of a neighborhood. This is, welcome to the neighborhood. So this is a new move, which is really nice. I said, when it comes to banking, we'd love to show you around. So this is a really nice marketing strategy for that. And I just love the use of die cut and a little touch of dimension. It just feels welcoming and homey, which is exactly what they're trying to do. So I really like that one. Let's see. This one on the kind of little bit more specialty side, this is a nice little mailable rectangle sized piece, but I wanted you guys to see this just because it's a nice example of splurge safe scenario. Cool format in the right situation. So this opens up. This is called a traveling snake fold. And so it's really like a roll fold that rolls around, but it rolls down and then over. And you guys are going to get the die lines for a lot of these, by the way. Down. This one is one of them. And over. And I like how they put, here we go. And it travels up, over, over. Just nice and yet very mailable. In format, which is great. Another one you guys are going to get the die line for is this format, which is one of my favorite small sized die line, pop-up formats. So I have a single and a double version of this that I'm going to show you. So this one was not I don't think this one was a mailer. This was a save the date, some sort of a piece. But anyway, opens up like this. I'm going to show you how it works, but so as you're opening it, you're pulling it, and there's a little diagonal fold, and this comes up. Now, what's neat about shooting Fold of the Week is I tend to see people then take the ideas and do new things with them. So I've seen this with a business card that pops up, with a coupon that pops up. I have a version that was done for a soccer tournament, where it was a woman kind of sliding to kick a ball, and as you opened it, it was a leg with a soccer ball that kicked up. So there's some really neat things that can be done with this format, but watch how it works. So, oops, I have a little sticker I'm posted on the back. Okay, watch. So you got flat, and then as it's opening, see how it's kind of, so there's a kind of a box score here and a box score here, and this cover is attached to it. And as it's opening, it's pulling that from flat to open. And then this one's a double. So, so this one's about paperwork, finances, legal stuff. So it's got top and bottom. And then I just have two more for you guys before we open it up for questions. This one I thought you guys would like. This is a higher ed piece. It's folded self mailer. This piece was glued down. Really nice use of, this has a touch of metallic foil. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's little bits of metallic foil giving it shimmer. It's got an angled die cut right here. And this is just a classic roll fold. Roll up, over, and down. But I just think such a nice use of touch of foil, a little bit of an angled cut, the end. You know, simple stuff making a huge impact. And then my last one is one of my favorites. This piece is also a self-mailer. This was, I believe, for a casino as well. And this one's got a really fun kind of superhero theme that's really neat. But this piece opens up like this. And think of it like a big double parallel fold that's kind of tall and goes in half. And all they do is glue the bottom. So this bottom piece is glued. It's got two little violators that fold out. And in just gluing the bottom, they get a sense of dimension right here. See how these are little windows? So they cut the little windows with a message, and then you kind of reveal these offers. Just really, really clever, simple fold, really clever, great use of dimension and interaction. So there you go. So I hope that I've given you a bunch of fun ideas that you feel are practical and you know, attainable, and you know, just want to encourage everybody to leverage mail and print and have fun with it. So I'm happy to take questions if there are any. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Just so everybody knows, you can use your chat feature if you have questions for Trish, and then I'll read them off. And I'm going to also have the winners of the t-shirts here in a second. But Trish, there were two questions that came in advance of this. One was, what would be a good example of a high engaging piece for long run?
For long run. So I would say for long run, this piece was my favorite as far as high engagement. So this piece was great because when you're thinking about kind of different engagement strategies, this one kind of checked every box. So this one involved personalization, movement, dimension. You know, it had special metallic inks. It had engagement where you tear the coupon off. So what I would say about long run is it's amazing what can be done on long run. And I think sometimes people think, oh, well, you know, I'm doing a huge amount of these. There's no way I could do something this interesting, but you can in many cases. So I would always kind of ask, and I would also think of these in terms of kind of, okay, how many boxes can I check off? You know, and so all of these different strategies really increase the engagement factor on the piece. So yeah, so this one would definitely be a great one for engagement, I would say. So
the other question, and then we do have one that came in through chat, Trish, is Trish's best tip for designing big impact direct mail. Okay,
best tip for high impact direct mail. If we are, two things. I'm going to give you guys two. One is I'm a huge fan of visual tricks because I get a lot of questions about low budget strategies that are really helpful. So things that, you know, imagery is so powerful for people, and we kind of are drawn to imagery. So I would think about things that are done through imagery and visual tricks and things like that. I would also say for mail, anything that feels personal. Personalization, if there's anything that you can do that mimics human handwriting, different ways that you can be creative to make something not feel like it was just all done by machine. Mail is such an opportunity for that one-to-one connection. And so I would say for high impact for mail, anything that you can do to make that connection feel more personal, more relevant. You know, it doesn't always mean spending like huge amounts of money. It can just be taking that extra step to make a more personal experience that's relevant to that person. So definitely.
Okay. And then Alex's question is, there weren't many examples with iconography and typography work. Do you feel imagery is the best for engagement?
You know what? Not necessarily. So here's what I would say, and I wish I Boy, I have a lot of kind of type dominant pieces. What I would say is, I think that typography, in a way, in a world of imagery and lots of busy stuff, I've seen some really cool things. I actually have, I don't have it out, where just really bold typography is eye-catching because it's kind of the quiet among the noise. So done right with the right statement, it can be super powerful. I actually have some not-for-profit examples where, like, they take a big craft envelope type of, not huge, but like a, about this size, and they put, in black type on a craft envelope, like the letters were like this big. And it actually was a very successful campaign. I could probably send the image for that to Michael if you guys wanted to see that. I've also seen a trend in catalogs where they almost give the sense of a catalog wrap, where they have, a solid color. It's just all solid color with knockout white type really big. And sometimes they do like a short trim so you can get a sneak peek of the imagery on the cover, but they make it look like a wrap, and it stands out because it's so bold among everything being kind of busy. So from a design perspective, it can absolutely be really powerful. But it's also kind of a brave choice. I think a lot of times we choose to lead with imagery. So it's kind of cool when you just see quiet and bold typography.
All right, thanks, Alex. Kristen has a question for the self-mailers with die cuts on the outside panel. Are those all machinable with the U.S. Postal Service?
So, I would always advocate making sure you're checking with, with CCG and, with regard to mail requirements. I wouldn't want to say, anything for anybody before you have it checked, but absolutely, as long as you glue things down appropriately, as long as they're prepared appropriately. I know there are length requirements and you name it, but the fold has to be on the lead, and this is the mailing panel. So this being glued down completely, any of the kind of shapes and things have to be glued down. But yeah, I would say yes with an asterisk. So I would just say make sure you're checking with CCG, and they will check it against postal requirements, and you may have to make a little adjustment here and there, but yeah.
Well, and I'll tell everybody on the online that if it's something that you're working with us on and we provide you a die line, we will most certainly call to your attention if there's going to be any postal implications prior to giving it to you. There's another question that came in. Is there a layout that you found gets a higher response rate?
A layout. No, I mean, that's a tough question. No, I don't know of any real studies. I know what you're asking. It kind of come from the perspective of, is there kind of a formula that works from a layout perspective? No, I'm not aware of kind of a formula kind of approach for what works from a layout perspective. I do know that the written word is the greatest driver of response in direct mail, but from a layout perspective, I don't have a formula, unfortunately.
Okay, so that was our last question. I'll give people just another few seconds while I announce the winners of the shirts. And so Trish, the winners should reach out to someone here so that we know that the size they would like and the address to ship, and we will get that to you and we'll send it to them, correct?
Yep. Okay. Yep. If either you want to reach out to them or they'll reach out to you, and and then we just need size and shipping address.
Okay. So there is a question that just came in, but so the two people that we need shipping address and size for a shirt, I'm going to use first initial last name, is C. Harris and S. Fox. And so you can either reach out to the representative that you work with here with that information, or obviously we'll find you if we don't hear from you in the next day. So Allison's question is regarding trailing edge envelopes. There's a large front end production time and expense. Have you found it worth it? Regarding trailing edge envelopes.
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand what that
Yeah, I'm not
means.
sure what trailing edge envelope is either.
Trailing edge envelope.
So I can ask the question if you want. Can you
Sure,
hear me?
yeah, hi.
Sorry, hi. So trailing edge envelope, where basically you kind of have, just like that one piece you showed that has kind of part of the paper hanging off, the trailing edge actually has where like it juts out, like you can use like a ball or like a square or something and fit it into the graphic. So it's like that, but in an envelope. So you have to get special like postal permissions and all that. So obviously it's not huge. It's pretty new. I just didn't know if you're familiar with it.
No, I'm not. It's called a trailing edge envelope.
Yeah, you can look it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. Honestly, I've never heard of that. Is it a new
It's
through USPS or new as a like?
It's what yeah, sorry. So yes, I understand. I mean, we tried it last fall for the first time with a relaunch of a product, and you know, it was just a lot of work getting it done. It looked fantastic. The question was, you know, what happened when it landed in somebody's box? So I asked my husband, I'm like, okay, what do you see? And he's like, I see the benefits. I'm like, great, the text worked. Did you see the thing hanging off the edge? And he's like, well, no. So, you know, the question is, does that work?
Yeah. Boy, I'm sorry. I wish I could give you some feedback on that. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I've never heard of it, and I feel like I've seen almost everything. So that's amazing.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Sure.
Well, seeing no more questions, Trish, thanks so much again for taking the time to join all of us today. And thanks everybody who jumped online for some virtual ideas. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first, but certainly not the last. As we head into the Memorial Day weekend, I hope everybody's able to enjoy it and stay safe. I'd love to see us all resume some sort of normalcy and be able to see all of you in person. Should we continue to experience challenges, obviously we'll come to you virtually as often as we need to assist you. And many of your sales reps were online today, so they know that you were on. And if there's anything that you saw today that you wanted to have questions about, Trish obviously is going to provide us with a lot of resources. We can jump on these virtual calls, just a few of us, to go over any of these samples specifically, if it's something you'd like to talk about. And you know, everybody here is ready and willing to assist in any way that we can. Okay.
Excellent.
So thanks again, Trish, and thanks everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.